Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading, and today is April 8th, 2025, and today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the highlights today, markets rebound, kind of. And the reason I'm saying kind of is because several reasons, but hang on. No major economic events scheduled for today. So looking at the market, starting out with the Forex symbols, yes, the US dollar does rebound. In variations, we're going to break it down per asset. Now looking at the indices, both the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ also rebound a bit. Now looking at commodities, it's gold and oil that rebounded. And looking at the stocks, yes, they did rebound almost across the board in several variations, some stronger, some weaker. I'm going to take a look at that. And lastly, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin gets a bounce as well. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. First with the Euro USD. Yes, is it getting a bounce? It got a bounce, meaning the dollar got a bounce. The euro went down. That's a bounce for the dollar. Now it is bouncing back. Okay, so we're going to be in this area quite some time, and this is coming up a little bit faster than the euro, than the GBP USD. Excuse me. So the euro a little bit stronger, which is uncharacteristic. Usually it's the GBP that goes first, and you see that that's further down. Excuse me, the GBP is further down versus the USD than the dollar is. Now looking at the Canadian dollar, so something very similar. The dollar getting stronger versus the Canadian dollar, and most importantly the Japanese yen. You can see that the dollar did get slightly stronger but didn't sustain it yet. Okay, so this trade tariff war is great for traders. It gives us great volatility and we love that, but it's also got to give us some sort of character, some sort of something that I could follow up with, that I could say, okay, this is going to start going in this direction. All right, so it might be a beginning of a bounce where we're going to be at about 50% of that previous low. Now looking at crude oil, it did get a bounce at $60 a barrel. Okay, just a little bit below. And this is amazing because remember, oil is super important for the world's consumption. And it might not be that at the pump you're going to see any different, but it's going to give us multiple opportunities on the upside as well. Now looking at gold, it did get a bounce as well above 3,000 after it receded just below it. But nothing's really changed for gold, okay? In terms of inflationary issues, we're still there. Okay, the markets are not rebounding tomorrow because of inflation, because Trump took office. It doesn't happen like that. It takes some years for it all to be implemented. And this thing that Trump is actually implementing, it's going to be kind of interesting how it's going to work down the line, as this is going to be something that is not just this year. It's going to continue. This volatility is going to continue if he keeps on doing these things. Now looking at the U.S. markets, there we go. The Dow Jones, a big bounce, all right, from 36,000 up to 38,000. That's 2,000 points. Remember, we had a high of 45,000, so we're still off a considerable amount, and we still have a tremendous amount even if to get to the 50%. And looking at the NASDAQ, also a big bounce there, not as big, okay, but might be as big in terms of percentage wise, not as points, but as percentage wise, as that is making a decent recovery there. Now looking at the individual stocks, now this is really super important because we're looking at Apple. Apple did get a bounce, but it also gapped down on the morning, okay, and didn't close that gap. So really it's down on the day. Even though you see green bars, it's really red on the day, and that is a bit misleading, and it's on previous support. You can't fully see it, but it's on previous support, possibly a 200-day moving average, because remember, it did have that huge stock split. So we got to see how this is actually going to rebound. Looking at Facebook, that is big rebound. That is what I would call a rebound because it closed the day above its open, and so that was a close above. Now looking at JP Morgan, also did close above and did get the rebound. Now the rebound is across the spectrum. Well, the reason I'm bringing the JP Morgan up is because on Friday it does have corporate earnings for the first quarter of 2025. That's super important as we're baving that down. Now lastly, looking at Bitcoin, we got a bounce as well. Okay, we dipped to 75,000 and we're at 79,000. So we're just shy of that 81K supportish level. And you could see on a chart, a multi-day chart, you could see that we are on supportish level. So this should be a place for us to bounce above, for us to make a correctional move to the upside as well. So I'm a little bit biased on the upside, but you know, just be careful if it does falter later today. And we see later some pressure on selling, it might break lower. So keep that in mind as well. Both opportunities are there, but you got to wait for the trade to come to you. This is Fed Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.